Welcome, Shivani. So it is live stream now. Yeah, you can start.
Thank you, Shabana. Thank you, Maven. And I would also add now that thank you to all the Maven listeners, patrons, and very devoted team. So here today, I'm so happy to be here again, and I must say I look forward to it now. Though that's a wrong thing because I think I need to be mindful that and conscious that there should be no expectations, right? So, having said that, I thought that today one thought that I was one was like contemplating that uh, keeping all these aspects in mind of today's world, which we all of us as individuals, as family or as a community are facing, and on a very one-to-one talk, we do kind of either experience it from the other person or share our own the struggles, the hassles, and to push forward, and the kind of environment which is more and more today all about like really pushing against the wind, struggling very very hard, and there is an equal level of dismay, uh, failure. Personally, for me, failure is no more a bad word, but yeah, in the broader terms, it is a very disheartening and a very defeating uh, experience emotionally, mentally, and it impacts the health as well. So one thought that let's bring it to the simple things of life where everything is hidden, is vibrant, and the more we align ourselves with purity, simplicity, the more beautiful our journey, all this life would be. And hence, it was that, to talk about that, let life simply unfold. So, easier said than done, especially in the initial years of your life. Yeah, maybe once you reach the kind of retirement age and all, we can kind of relate to this line that let life simply unfold, because by that time we have a lot of learnings which life gives. But if consciously, mindfully, we contemplate on this line that is let life simply unfold, uh, it it will surely trigger an approach where we will do our karma. For sure our work will happen, but we will make our efforts. It's not that we'll just sleep or we won't get up, we'll not go to the office, or we'll not work at home, or whatever we are doing as individuals, as business people, or as homemakers. It's not that we stop doing that, but if we give that opportunity to life to simply bloom, I would say unfold, another word, bloom on its own, without kind of putting an interjection at every point. Uh, I guess it connects with the thought process when we say uh, to develop acceptability within us, to live in gratitude, to be patient, to have trust and faith. Now, this circle connects with that because when you meditate or when you kind of become, you're very conscious at every point of time what you are talking, what you are speaking, what you are thinking, what you are doing. you are in that present moment, and whatever is flowing, you are just not getting over, you're not getting hyper about it. You're not completely going bizarre in that moment, no matter whatever the situation is. God forbid, nothing bad, but in a typical life, in a day-to-day normal, I'm talking, but I'm not talking about the extremes which happen, but I'm typically talking where we often, enter into a lot of not so good experiences, whether it is at home or whether it is in the outside world, only because, that 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 inner I overpowers the the flow of the universe, because it's like मैं हम कर रहे हैं, हमें करना चाहिए था, ये ऐसे कैसे हो गया, because it's not happening as per your. I've called a taxi, it's come possibly 10 minutes early or 10 minutes late, so it's not come on time. So for us it's not come on the time, but we don't know if that the the point when the taxi has arrived is the right time defined by the universe, because 10 minutes here and there would, in a normal way, not make any difference. And even if it makes a difference, maybe it is for the good. It is for the good. Uh, Examples are many, and they are public examples floating around in our social media context. So I'm not kind of captured those examples to kind of put this into more context, but it's essentially the effort to get away from the thought of trying to control everything. The moment we move on from this approach or uh, this mindset which we develop from growing up to our early days as youth, and then we transition into middle bracket, till the point we reach the so-called senior level. This Many of us, we even at a very senior level, we have that, because we have not been able to get away from that approach of controlling everything. And many a times, in that over exertion or over control attitude, or being in command of things, we many a times miss the beautiful moments, experiences, and presence which the universe has is flowing towards us, but we are in that chatter on our mind and in our thoughts, and that I being very dominant, we are not able to kind of enjoy and experience that, you know uh, and it also has a very strong connect. It cannot, if we talk about how do we kind of practice this, how do we kind of get into this mode of let life beautifully unfold for itself, or bloom on its own, is that it has a very strong uh, you know connect with the mindset of surrender, uh, which again is very tough. We as human beings are not conditioned from the beginning to this concept of surrender. It's difficult, and it's also not something which is very widely uh, in our day-to-day living acceptable, or convincing, I would say. A better word would be convincing. Because it would be like, how can you surrender? We have to do this. We have to fight it. Otherwise, people will take my share. You have to fight for this. Otherwise, you won't get it, Shivani. You have to take stress for this. The time is coming. It's not happened. So, these are the typical things which happen to us, or, many a times our work get impacted, our financials get impacted. Many more, not so good things, you know, is something which we encounter. But what I mean here is that, when you kind of lay down yourself completely to that inner self is the supreme, right? It it's it overpowers, and it overtakes and manages it beautifully. Because till the time we keep kind of doing that, Hindi mein there's a word called jaddo-jahad, right? Till the time we keep doing that, the power, the universe, you know, says, okay, let the child keep doing that. It's the same thing like your child in the real world, struggling with something, some knot or something, and you kind of from a distance watch it, and you say, okay, let the person kind of let the kid do it. But at the moment the kid kind of surrenders, and doesn't do that, and the parental instinct comes and kind of enfolds it for the child. uh, and it's the same thing, with the almighty, with the power. We are all the part of that supreme power, the father. And when we kind of surrender, the almighty kind of that power, that energy, uh, enfolds us into its energy, and takes care of everything. Uh, so surrender is not something which can happen uh, very easily, but it needs a lot of spiritual. You kind of deep dive into the spiritual practice, and spiritual practice is nothing for a normal common man. It's all about living in that consciousness, living in that aliveness, in that awareness, with all gratitude, for all the blessings, for all the love, for all the care that the universe showers upon us every moment, every second. We in today there are a lot of meditational practices, especially of the Brahma Kumaris, which kind of tells you to kind of practice these affirmations on a daily basis, and kind of at very regular intervals, so that you kind of have a de facto mode to live in that moment, and have your mind and the thoughts slowly and steadily getting calm with time, and when it's a kind of a practice on a regular basis, at some point of time you'll see that this heavy duty flow of all kinds of thoughts. Sometimes we jump into the past, sometimes we jump into the future, sometimes we start making stories of our own, or start doubting a lot of things. Right now, this is all the game which is going on here. And the moment we kind of get into that mode of meditation, you can say, but the other words can be, being mindful, being aware, because meditation leads you towards that, and that's how your concentration and focus kind of gets strengthened and empowered, and you are able to kind of feel, connect, and give yourself at the feet of that supreme father, that supreme energy. So the moment you do that, you automatically start flowing with this line of let life simply unfold or let life simply bloom. Uh, while one was, kind of thinking about this topic, and how, in a very layman's approach, we can make an attempt to start believing and approaching ourselves in this mode, uh, thought to share with you again Ramana Maharshi ji's uh, teaching, which I am kind of reading out. So, what does Ramana Maharshi ji tell on surrender for, to let life simply unfold? He says that surrender involves giving up all thoughts and concentrating the mind on the divine, merging one's action, which is mind, speech, and body, with the divine, and recognizing that God takes care of those who surrender completely. Essentially, it's all about letting go of the ego and accepting the will of the higher power. Because, like, there's a very famous saying which Mr. Bachchan, Amitabh Bachchan, has been sharing many a times on many public platforms and on his blog, which is he says that, when many people ask him the question that how did he face failures and all, he quotes a message which his father shared with him while he was in his school in Dehradun or Shimla, Masuri, somewhere. And he quotes an example where he wanted to participate in a theater, a play at his annual function in the school. But because of some health issues and a high fever, he could not participate. And he was very sad, and he was in his dormitory. And his father he had come to see, but because he just suddenly fell sick, he was very sad. So he comes to meet him in his dormitory. And he says that, Hamesha yaad rakhna, I'm saying it in Hindi, then I'll repeat in English. हमेशा याद रखना, मन का हो तो अच्छा है, मगर अगर मन का ना अच्छा हो तो और भी अच्छा है, क्योंकि वो प्रभु की इच्छा होती है. So, which is basically that if everything is happening as per your plan and desire, it is very good because that's your painting. I have made my own interpretation and definition of that, which is that, yeah, if it is happening as per my, tuck plan in life, it's for sure my plan and my colors for myself, in this life journey. But what I have kind of made it for myself is that uh, when it's not happening as per my desires and dreams, then it is possibly a painting which is now being colored by the higher power. And it's the journey which it's the journey which possibly that power, that universe, that father, that mother has dreamt and will unfold, because now I am not pushing to do this and to do that and to achieve this and to achieve that, or to throw this out. So that all has been taken away from my mind. Yeah. uh, a very important corollary which I want to put here is that it's not easy because this has its own trials and tribulations, because things do not happen. And it's not that when you surrender, you don't face challenges, you don't face failures, you don't face all that, which is not which is something as human beings we kind of sadness which we find tough to deal with. So all that happens, but it is just that because of that trust and faith that you have kind of put on that power kind of holds come what may. So that's a kind of a little digression from what the quote is. So it's like, if it is not happening as per your plan, it is happening as per God's plan. Now, the other thing which he talks about in surrender is that complete surrender comes only through the grace, and it is bestowed on those who have struggled and practiced spiritual disciplines. Now, spiritual disciplines, as I said, I think spiritual discipline in the most easy way is to be very conscious about the fact that any act or any work or any thought or any karma you are doing is surrendered. It is being done with the surrender to the Almighty, to the power's feet. Because the moment you surrender at the feet of the divinity, at the feet of the power, believe you me that power would take all care of the child, of you, you know uh, and you will not feel defeated. So it's very simple in that way. Now, the other point of view is that, no, how can this be? We have to do, there is a thought process on that line, right? Which is like, uh, you have to do, you can't leave like that. That's a parallel thought. And Ramana Maharshi ji kind of picks that up as well. And he says that one of the two things must be done: either surrender because you admit your inability and also require the higher power to help you, or the other point, or investigate into the cause of the misery. Yeah, aisa kyun hua, why this happened, this was the reason, that was the reason, oh, it's me who was not lucky, and whatever. So it says, or investigate into the cause of misery, go into the source, and merge into the self. In that line also, when you start investigating, you go kind of deep, finding out, kind of contemplating to why it happened, what was the source, what is the reason. If I'm facing today in my life, what is the reason, and when you kind of start getting moved, because the moment you get into that contemplation, you move more and more inwards, right? And that the moment you move inwards, you are again merging yourself to the self, the supreme. So then he says, either way, you will be free from misery. So the one approach is to surrender and say that, okay, God, I need you, I need your help. And it is all that I can do, and I do that. And then he will drive things and you will accordingly do. But the other is to say, no, I'm going to fight it out. I'm going to struggle it out. But in that journey also, when the misery, or when the not so good things happen, the individual is moved towards finding meaning and ways to address that and rise above that. And in that journey also, if you kind of analyze it, at one point of time, you kind of like when you go for when you go for workshops or when you go for any healing, they all tell you, okay, take a deep breath, close your mind, feel. So it's essentially that journey is to merge yourself with the self. And that's why he says that either way, you will free yourself from misery. A very important line which Ramana Maharshi ji says is, God never forsakes one who has surrendered. Now, forsakes means what? Never leaves. So, either ways, whatever journey you take, but still God will never leave. God will never, God never forsakes one who has surrendered. But the important point is to live this line, which is let life simply unfold. Itself is not is not at all a cakewalk. Yes, uh, if you start really believing, and that belief is essentially to for your on yourself, on that faith, that trust. It's essentially the faith and trust in the power. And the moment you have that faith and trust in the power, it will never forsake you. It's like, I have faith and trust in, say, for example, uh, we have Shabana. So if I have that faith and trust and complete surrender, maybe that trust and that faith of mine will turn the tables unexpectedly. So this was very, insightful, and I thought this can connect with the thought that how do we, in a very simple way, uh, understand that how one can, let life simply unfold. Because what I find is that at any given point of time, we have a lot of questions, punctuations, ifs and buts, and why this and why not. Uh, and if you kind of look at, uh, look at or listen to or read the real saints and the real saints like Ramana Maharshi and many more, or if you read, some very pure, not marketing gimmicks, but individuals' experiences which they have captured, you will realize that it all is essentially telling about surrender, of steadily saying, let life take its own course. It's all because my point over there was, or I used to question that why don't we let it happen? Possibly there is a kind of a lack of conviction or a lack of faith and trust within us. Otherwise, like today, I've said, okay, let the power paint my life, fill it with colors. I've planned, and I've made my best. And yeah, it's not something which is bad. Colors are beautiful. But maybe I said now, when the moment I kind of, stepped out from that phase of like really pushing hard, it doesn't mean that one doesn't work, one doesn't make an effort. But it's now, it's now not about like really losing yourself, your sleep, and these beautiful seconds and moments of this life. The trouble, the tension, does cross the mind. All those emotions of hurt and all happen for me also. But it 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 doesn't get that importance beyond a point. And if it does, then finally I say, God, I'm putting this in front of you and I'm finishing it off. It's beyond me. So, you know, I'm just kind of elaborating on some practical approaches. And this is again, I have kind of dug out from Ramana Maharshi ji's teachings. Uh, it says, how do you kind of move on that path of let life unfold on its own via the journey of complete surrender. So he says that, practical instructions for surrendering includes place your mind at the feet of the God. So again, all the thoughts which are coming here, all that zigzag happening, the stress, the tension, the falls and the ups, just surrender the mind at the feet of the power. Be in the awareness and awakening of his presence all around and within. Recognizing that one does nothing and God does everything. Now, there is a debate over here or a different opinion that it is wrong. We do wrong things and we put it to God. So I think, sometimes when you walk such paths or you want to experience and you want to live this way, a very strong analytical mind or a very debating approach will not make it very easy for you. Yes, we do. We are not putting everything on God that, now hum khana bhi nahi khayenge, Bhagwan hame khila dega. It's not that in the very so-called literary terms. This refers to the saying that don't go mad about things. You have to make an effort. But if in that effort things do not fall in place as per your desire and dreams, don't go mad over it. You have done your karma, you have made your most purest intent. And when you do that with the surrender of every work, of every thought at his feet, just finish off with that approach. What will happen from there is again expectations. So keep aside the expectations. I think it's somewhere kind of while I'm talking, it's resonating with that again, that the very widely practiced and quoted, Krishna's sermon to Arjun, that you do the karma. Don't worry about what will happen after that. I am there and I am overseeing it. Then the other thing he says is admitting one's ability and requiring the help of the higher power, accepting whatever happens as God's will. So, in a sense, it is, merging with the source. Says, Ramana ji says that surrender is to give oneself up to the original cause of one's being, the source within. So it says our surrender is actually, giving up yourself to that original source, which is the source within, to that original cause. Matlab, what are you? You are ultimately a part of that source, that self. So you are kind of, you kind of you kind of debate that what is the reason for me taking birth, right? What is the cause of your being, right? That's what he says. Now, the moment you kind of, that your original cause of being is the source within. मतलब आपका ये जो this existence is there. That's what it means. Original cause of one's being. That's what I feel and believe. It is the source within. So you are part of that source, So that's why he says, merge yourself with the source. And all kinds of dhyanas, yoga, silence, chanting or or doing the japas, they all are somewhere aligning with this, to give oneself up to the original cause of one's being, the source within. Very deep, and it will take a lot of readings, a lot of thoughts to kind of cull it out for yourself, right? Then he says, seeking the source, unreserved surrender. That's what I said, the question marks and the doubts and the debates. Uh, do not make that very easy, right? So it's unreserved surrender. Unreserved surrender allows the higher power to reveal itself. And he says that when you have that unreserved surrender, it allows that universe, that energy, that power to make you experience that. The I and surrender. Ramana also emphasized the importance of understanding who is surrendering. It is not a separate self, but the realization of the true self. So he emphasizes about the I in the surrender. The burden of life, but the burden of God, the burden of life is on God, not on oneself. Once surrender is achieved. Grace of God. Complete surrender comes only through the grace of God, which is bestowed on those who have struggled and practiced the spiritual discipline. One has talked about how that spiritual discipline can be brought into one's life in the beginning when I started. And then the surrender to the process. That's unreserved surrender. So when this journey starts, you have to surrender yourself to that process, which reduces the ego, the I. I have done this. I have said that. I did it. I am this. I am so and so. You know, influence of the I on the truth, a step towards realizing the reality. I'll repeat that. Surrender as a process. Ramana Maharshi viewed surrender as a process of reducing the influence of the I on the truth, a step towards realizing reality. So, this surrender works on reducing the impact of मैं on the reality. जो सच्चाई है, this ego overpowers that truth in reality, the core. And this surrender helps in kind of reducing this I influence of the truth. And this is a step towards experiencing, realizing, being in complete silence, when that power, that energy gives the experience of its presence, of its love, of its blessings. And that's when you come to the conclusion that it's nothing beyond gratitude every second, every moment. So this is what I thought, that in very simple way, how we can, make an effort to let life simply unfold itself. We do make efforts, we should dream, we should have, but the moment we are conscious and we are aware, and we do or we think or we speak anything with a complete, with a complete, with a complete, uh, with a complete surrender at his feet. The experience is for one to just experience, it cannot be put into words. Yeah, it does not mean that, the ifs and buts and the lows and the highs and the struggles and the things will not happen. They will happen. So this is what it is. But I just thought that Shibana had been many times saying to me, but I just thought that today was a time when maybe I can also, I've written an abstract on surrender in the book which I have penned down, which is called Musings of the Lost Heart, and it's on Amazon. And I thought that maybe I can also share what one had penned down uh, on, because this all happened, and that was a time when one was kind of moving towards the path of let life now unfold itself to me. I've kind of really made my, plannings and my struggles and fights and uh, losing my sleep and hard work and everything. But that was a time I was kind of, it did not start with a very, it did not start with the so-called happy emotions, but it started from there. And the moment one started getting deeper into it, uh, it started changing for me as well. So, Shabana, can I just, it will take 2 minutes. Can I kind of share that, share what I had penned down?
Yeah, please.
So this is something written on surrender, and this is like way back. And today, when I was reading it while preparing this, I kind of, when I was kind of picking up about Ramana Maharshi ji and about this, why this line came to me. So I just thought to share this, and it is surrender. It's an app. This book is on abstracts. This is the book, and there are different topics in it. So what Ramani Maharshi ji says is to merge yourself. So my first poem in this book is called You, and for everybody it had a different meaning. Whoever is in whatever state and stage in life. So for me, it was at a spiritual level. So it says, "Your presence brings hope in my life. Your love rejuvenates my youth. Your exuberance is the essence of my existence. You are the universe within which I exist." So I'm not reading the entire, and I'm just finishing the. I'm now putting the last line, what I've read. Written, "You are my soul, you are my pride, you are my passion. May I merge in you someday." So this is what, when today I was sharing this with all of you and I was preparing, says that merge yourself. So obviously this today I'm doing, but this book I kind of penned down for possibly many years back. And then on surrender also, it's a pure coincidence. So I've written that surrender is life takes its own twists and turns. One never knows the next gift of surprise in store. What a mystery. One plans and strategizes for every moment, both in professional and personal life cycle. But what is in store is never known. Surrendering to the Almighty is a path which, when tread upon, brings bliss and the understanding of what life is really all about. But it is very difficult to practice. Surrendering does not preach losing out on determination, hard work, or on perseverance, but surely brings in the power of patience and faith. However, it is also true that one cannot develop the power of surrender anytime, anywhere. It comes only through rare and blessed experiences of life and may take place and may take years. But when it comes, you get the meaning and, and direction in life. When does new life begin? It is only when the previous one gets devastated and one is dismayed in life. How many of us are prepared for it? None. Running in life has no end. We are all busy running, be it at the age of 25 or 35 or 65 or 75. Yes, the blessed are those for whom the Almighty chooses to start a new life. But we have no, but we have to remember that the path starts with jolts and tears with nowhere to look at. And are there still takers for it? This does not mean inaction or disenchantment, but requires an understanding of what option one has, either to keep struggling against the negative winds of life or to believe that whatever is happening is his way and canvas for each of us to be experienced with faith and optimism. Time will surely make it define for us in one word: miracle. So, this is what one had kind of many years back written. And this is what one felt, that when you let life simply unfold, God will never forsake you once you have surrendered. Life will never forsake you, life will never leave you. Uh, and when you let life simply unfold, life will be then simple and easy and pure and beautiful. Your desires, you will realize that your desires, you will realize that are these desires like really required? And many such, revelations, many such experiences, many such awareness, awakening, I don't know to use or not, but will start happening. You will tend to, God will have its own way, the life will have its own way, universe will have its own way to then uh, make you feel that, this let life bloom on its own. Is it rightful for you, or it was not something which you should have done. So I think it's all in one's experience, and the more you read about a lot of things, uh, you will get to know that autobiographies or a lot of books which have been written, like one of the books, which I would say to kind of refer to, and that person has written it in that very clearly, is the book, like Eric Tolle's The Power of Now, or if you talk about the book by, this book is called Untethered Spiritual Experiences, and it's called The Untethered Soul. Untethered is unthered. So the untethered soul, that is the free, free. So untethered means giving a free hand. It's by Michael A. Singer. And in that, he's kind of, referred that how he had at a very early age left everything and walked into the jungles to live a life. He was doing yoga and all that. But how life on its own brought him into the world, and he went on to become a, a founder of a software company and a billionaire, and you know a lot of things happen to him which today's world is struggling to achieve and is losing its health and life and sleep. And for him it just happened because he had just let life unfold on its own. So he also has, I'm sure he is taken from the teachings of Ramana Maharshi. And he says that because when you read Ramana Maharshi ji, he says that the first thing is the moment you kind of start questioning, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? You will start getting into that, you know, uh, path towards uh, merging yourself, And this is what he says. And uh, he has in his book, The Untethered Soul, uh, said that live in the present moment. And he says that there is just his quote is, there is nothing more important to true growth than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind, you are the one who hears it. Only you can take enough freedom away from yourself or give it to yourself, nobody else can. The truth is that most of life will unfold in accordance with the forces far outside your control, regardless of whatever your mind says about it. So, if you kind of, I can repeat that as well. The truth is that most of the life will unfold in accordance with the forces far outside your control, regardless of whatever your mind says. And this is where I kind of connected that, if you let your life unfold, uh, it will bloom and flower. But always remember that even the rose or any flower, when it blooms and it gives you, a lot of perfume and a lot of things, remember there are, uh, the thorns are also there. So this does not mean that let life unfold simply will be off the bounds of the trouble and the struggles and the hassles and not so good things, but it will surely promise you a very, very stress free and very in the moment kind of life. So this is what I thought I'd kind of share it, because uh, it's important for all of us to kind of in experience this life. We are just running and struggling, and in that we just forget to experience this beautiful world. Uh, it's so beautiful, even if you are sitting in your house, so it's not necessary to go with expensive packages to international destinations and all. But even sitting at your home in a very in a night dress, you can experience the blessing which this life and this environment, this mother nature, this universe has bestowed upon each of us. So, any thoughts on this topic, or um, any experiences, or what one has to say about this?
Thank you, Shivani. You really covered it so thoroughly and so much in detail. So, yeah, complete gratitude to you for addressing it so well.
Thank you, Shivana. Thank you, Shivana.
I
I think.
think I think uh, I would like to I would like to I saw your topic this morning, and I was very fascinated. You know why? Because
Okay, why?
because you said let simplicity unfold, and now after listening to you, I would say that let simplicity unfold, if I may add to it, with laughter, and
Yes,
live
yes.
life uh, with simplicity, with gratitude, with prayer, with love, laughter, and
Joy.
joy. Joy. I attended. I attended a simple prayer of my friend's grandmother yesterday, and yeah, I I mean I've been for Holi. I've been for this was actually my first experience in a mandir. Well, a lot of Sikhs come there
Okay.
to,
Oh,
for,
okay.
my friends are Hindu Punjabis, and yeah, and it was like so beautifully. So I learned that from that from that from that time last night. I said I wish Shivani. I wish I was thinking of you. I said I
Oh,
wish Shivani could could bring up this topic, and the answer unfold.
oh, wow. Wow. What a
Yeah,
connect. What a connect. What a
a-
connect.
and I am going to say that live life laughingly and simplicity. I think that would be my next topic for our next maybe consciously positive on Thursday,
Okay,
uh,
wow.
on June. So I'm inspired by you. So they said, don't live don't live life with unhappy. Let the emotions flow. As my hypnotherapists always say, that be proud of who you are.
Yeah.
Be the unshakable version of yourself.
Yeah. 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 Yes. Correct.
Don't care whatever people think of you. The most important things, the most important people in my life are my parents and my caregivers and my friends. Yeah, because
True. Very true. Very true.
because you see, siblings can have their own life, still love them, but live life simply means live life with minimal attachment, meaning that um, be attached to to the people living with you.
Correct.
People people who do not live with you maintain a distance. So very good topic, very good sharing, and I will consider this. Um,
Yeah, just Rajveer, I want to say that when I this let life simply unfold, this means that whenever the brick buckets are coming towards you, when the stones are being thrown at you, when the
yeah.
struggles are coming to you, don't fight it out. Let life simply unfold, and they will have their own normal course of dying down. But the moment we start giving attention and we start fighting and we start struggling with it, that's where we start falling. So
Okay.
when you say let life simply unfold, that is the point over there. That Let it unfold, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the
The,
successes, the failures, all let it flow.
the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Maven. Thank you, Shabana. And a lot of gratitude
Thank,
to everyone here. Thank
thank,
you,
thank,
Rajbir.
yeah, thank you everyone, and see